Good morning, everybody. This is Japic checking in for another of our quick cooking videos. This morning what we're going to do is we're going to be making up what we refer to in my family as Grandma's pancakes. They are named such because as children they were the one thing every time we had breakfast at Grandma's house that we would ask her to make us. And she officially got the recipe from my mother in a home ec class back when she was a kid. And she cooked it almost every day for my grandpa before sending him off to work. And like I said, every time the kids would come over, we would have them. So these were a very regular part of our childhood. But what we've got is a number of these ingredients ready to go here. First, we'll start with the dry stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know if we're going to be able to see this very well. Unfortunately, we're talking a bunch of white ingredients. I'm not sure if we're going to get a good angle on this or not. We have 2 cups of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And those are our dry ingredients. I've got this all put together right now in it's an 8 cup, or what does it make it, 2 liter. It's a big mixing bowl, measuring bowl, and anytime that we're trying to put a batter together, you always want to take and add your wet ingredients to your dry ingredients, not the other way around. So we have those. I mixed them together just a little bit. We're going to drop on top of this 2.5 cups of milk. We have 2 eggs, and we're going to be adding 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil to the mix. Come on, you. This thing's almost empty. Let's just go straight in. So I'm going to get a whisk here, and we're going to mix this all together, bring it up into a loose batter. It's worth noting that I am at altitude. I live above 53,000 feet. So when it comes to baking, this is what works for us up here. I have to admit, I don't ever take recipes the other direction. If anything, we bring recipes up to altitude, not down. So you may need to make some adjustments for this locally in your kitchen. I know that coming up to altitude, we have to usually add a little bit more flour to keep this together. But yeah, I've never actually looked up the directions for the opposite way. So if you need to do that for yourself, feel free. Otherwise, just play within your kitchen a little bit. Maybe you like them a little more firm. Maybe you like them a little more loose. You can always adjust the batter later. So we're going to take this together until it's just loose. There's going to be air that we've worked into it, and there's still going to be some chunks, which is exactly where it needs to be. So that's going to be done. As a general statement, of course, this video is going together for a cooking playlist that Vault Girl and I are putting together. We're trying to get all of our friends, all of our YouTube community to start cooking with us. So as always, make some videos, give us something to eat, and share some food. But I'm going to walk away from this batter for one little minute. We are going to get our griddle over here and get it warmed up, and I will see you guys back in 1 minute. Alright folks, we're back. What I have in front of me is an electric griddle. If you're going to use these just in a regular frying pan, go right ahead. But this is something I prefer to do usually, since we're cooking more than a little bit of food at a time. We always go with more. Now this griddle and I, we've been around for a while together cooking, so it has seen some better days. But what we're going to do is we're going to take and some butter down on this griddle. Because it is an electric griddle, I will mention that I have the temperature up at about 325. I have absolutely no idea how that equates for anybody else's stove or whatever, but you just make sure that we get some fat down on this pan. And then we're going to get our mixture and a little serving, not serving, but a scooping utensil. So this is rested only a couple minutes. It's been maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes. We're going to start putting these down. You can make these as big or as small as you want. We usually make them somewhere about 3 or 4 inches across. It's kind of the way that they were made all these years. And we'll just do the first batch here real fast, just so you can see how they start looking. I can usually put 8 on this griddle, but I'm not spacing them together very well. So we're going to put 6 down and call it done. I don't know if you can see it very well in the video or not. Yeah, it looks like you probably can. We'll look at some of these ones up here. You can start seeing these air bubbles coming to the top of the pancake. Right now they're full bubbles. You know, they're rising through the batter, and they still have a top to them. When these things start to get a little towards ready, you're going to see the edges of them come up just a little bit, and the bubbles are going to stop having a top. They're going to be more like a tunnel than a bubble. So we're going to give these just a little minute here. Shouldn't take us too long at all. And like I said, my family's been eating these for years and years and years. Yeah, I don't know. My kids love them, and they're just quick and they're easy, and they're something that I think that just about everybody can do. So here we're getting them to a nice golden brown. I think I like where that's at. This is the cold corner of my griddle, so that's why I started there first. Yeah, buddy, pancakes. If we're doing a bunch of these, a big batch of them, I always like to take a plate, an oven-safe plate, turn my oven to the lowest temperature setting it can go. I think for me that's like 175 Fahrenheit. And then we can just stack these into the oven and let them rest for a few minutes while the rest of them go. Realistically, it's a question of how many you can cook and how fast you can cook them, and that's really how quickly this is going to go for you at this point in the recipe. So it looks like these are going to be pretty much ready to go. So what I do is I just scoop them all together into a couple rows, and then put them onto this plate down here. And then we reload and we go again. So I'm going to set these here in the oven, and I'll move on to the next batch. Now, what's that you say? You don't like regular pancakes? Well, that's not entirely unheard of. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple quick variations. Oh, sorry for the steam on that one. A couple of quick variations here. We'll throw down our first couple. We'll do 8 this time. Get these cooking real quick. And you say, oh, but I really love, oh, I don't know, blueberry pancakes. I say, okay, that's easy. Blueberries are so easy to do. You take your pancakes like this. You take your favorite blueberries like this. And just drop them on top. More or less, whatever you like. I mean, I suppose you can, if you like raspberry pancakes or something like that, maybe you can have those too. I have to admit, I've never had them, but they kind of sound delicious. Just take and you drop your favorite blueberries on top, just like that. And then the rest is the same. You just let them go. But then you say to me, but wait a minute. My favorite kind is a banana pancake. So I say, okay. You take 2 overripe bananas, ready for banana bread, mash them up just a little bit in your bowl, and then dump them into your batter. And for me, I'm going to take this. This is going to be my final step for these. So once the banana goes in, you can't go back to regular pancakes. So I'm going to add these into my regular batter and mix it around for a moment. Get the mashed banana into the batter. And then just like before, they go into the griddle. And just like that, we've got a whole bunch of pancakes to do. So realistically, you're going to be able to make somewhere in the neighborhood of, when the pancakes are this size, somewhere in the neighborhood of probably 20, 25, maybe 30 pancakes, depending on how thin your batter is. And like I said, this is something that isn't too difficult to do. And everybody likes them. And I don't know, pancakes, easy. Now they're not quite as fast as our 5-minute eggs the other day. Start to finish, you're probably talking 30 minutes to get everything together, run it across the pan. The smaller your pan is, the longer it's going to take you to make up pancakes for a group. Yeah, just like before, we're going to start looking for the bubbles in the banana here, and they're not quite ready. They're not with us. These blueberries are making all kinds of noise as those juices break open on the bottom. Check on how he's doing here. Oh, nope, not ready yet. Not even close to ready. Now, the blueberry ones are going to make a bit of a mess, because as the berries break open, you're going to get juice onto the griddle, and then the griddle is going to kind of almost, I don't know, stain them. If you do a whole bunch of them, you're going to end up with that. And see, look at that one. That one that's just burst, and juice is running across the top. Alright, bananas about ready to flip here. Again, let's see if I can bring this one up so you can see it better. You've got more like tunnels than bubbles at this point. Now we got banana pancakes. So I'm going to finish these things off and grab myself a plate, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright folks, that's it. Slapped a little butter on a few of these just for the Final shot here. If you're going to have yourself a complete breakfast, go ahead and load this plate up with a bunch of other stuff. However, this video was only about pancakes, so we're going to focus on that. Usually when I'm cooking these and my kids are around, we always make a couple of these little ones. They're just itty bitty teeny ones, and they always want to eat something before it ever leaves the kitchen. So for the kids, I find that they'll eat these things plain. No butter, no syrup, no nothing. Put a little bit of margarine on these. Hit these with a little bit of syrup, and we'll be on our way. So I hope you've all had a great day. See if we can avoid the glare there. I hope those last segments of video weren't too foggy. I did clean my lens before we began here again, so I really hope that the last bits of that didn't get foggy on you, and if they are, I apologize. But as before, submissions, please share your food. Let's all have some more to eat. I mean, we got to eat anyway. Might as well have good stuff. We will see you in the next one. Remember to give us your submissions to myself or Vault Girl via any of the platforms you have. Y'all take care of yourselves, and I'm going to go see if I can manage not to eat all these pancakes. Oh, by the way, my final count, I made 28 pancakes out of this batch. So here's hoping there's some left at the end of the day. Cheers, take care. Catch you next time. Japic of Death signing off. Thank you, Grandma.